Hello, this is Rick, and this is another RoboSim Pro video. This is on how to create shapes in RoboSim Pro. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up the Create Shape panel. So this is kind of a top level panel that has a lot of sub panels associated with it. So you can also access the sub panels through the modeling pull down. But we'll start at the top level so that you can start there. You can either create a null shape, which is just an empty shape, but it shows up in the quick pick, a point, a frame, a 2D curve, a 3D curve. You can make surfaces. You can create primitives, which we'll look at, booleans, which we'll look at, reflections, mirror images, what we'll look at, and then general shapes. So you can build any shape you want with curves and surfaces of revolution, surfaces of translation. Very extensive, and then you can do booleans, so you can make any shape you want. So the primitives, these are the 6 primitives we have. So we'll just create some primitives, and you can see here that there's no green bar around the panel, which means the mouse, you have to access the fields and you have to use the footers, but you can't select an object in the world using this panel. So let's create, we create a cylinder, a block, a cylinder, and then a frustum. We'll just create some general shapes, and then we'll move them around, and then we'll boolean them. We'll see what happens, what they look like. So let's move the block away. Let's move the cylinder away and the frustum away, so we can sort of play with them. Let's create a sphere also, so that we can use that. Notice if you press the OK, it performs the action of the panel and dismisses the panel. If you hit apply, it just executes the action of the panel. So here we're going to move the sphere to the face of the cylinder. And let's see, let's create a cone also. You can set the units on these up in that little panel, the status panel up there where it says update. You press those little arrows and you can set different units. Okay, and then the move panel, move to face. It's pretty handy. Wherever you click on the face, it's going to move the pose of that cone to that shape there. Alright, so we have some basic primitive shapes. Now if we go to the Boolean submenu, you can select shape 1 and shape 2. You can either intersect, subtract, or unite, kind of union them. So let's just do an arbitrary one. Here's a cylinder and here's the sphere, and we want to say what's the intersection, and it automatically names something, bool1, but you can change the name of that. So let's just move bool1 away, and you'll see that it's basically the intersection of a sphere and a cylinder. If you subtract the sphere, this subtracts the sphere from the cylinder. Note that it doesn't affect the original shapes. It makes a new shape, bool2, and you have a cylinder with a sphere removed. Then if you swap and say the sphere is shape 1 and the cylinder is, and you subtract them, and what you really end up with bool3, that's an auto name, is a sphere that then has a cylinder subtracted from it. So you can do all these kind of shapes and then make all kinds of things. So let's take this block and this cylinder and unite them and make one shape. There we go. So this shape now, bool4, is really just a block and a cone, but it's it's a one shape now. You can't separate that into 2 shapes. It's been one shape. So let's look at the reflection or mirror panel. You can select the reference, which is the teacher. We select the teacher a lot of times. In this case, it's Andy. And we can select this one block, block 1, and we'll say reflected around the XY plane. So see, the XY plane's at the 0, so it reflected that down. It mirrored it down and created a new shape called reflect 2. Okay, so there, now it's looking at the the XZ plane of the teacher, and then it's reflecting that shape that we made from two shapes, and it reflected that. And then you can reflect it over the XY plane, right? So then that's a plane, so it reflects in there. All right, thanks.